So we're continuing our video on sending email from the Dialog component, and we've just shown how you can send an email and commit the data to a table. So if we go now to our customer inquiry table, we'll see there's the record that got added by this action over here, and then we've seen the email that was actually sent. So now let's take a look at some of the other options in the send email action. So I'm going to go back now to my web project properties, and I'm going to set up my my work queue and my email outbox. So the email outbox keeps track of every single email that your application sent. So if I go now to email outbox, I can go now and specify that I'd like my email outbox to be a SQL database, and I'll choose this connection over there, and I'll just give it a name, outbox, and then I'll say create the table for me, since I don't already have one. And so now a table has been created, and if I go look now in my database here and go and do a refresh, you can see now that we have a new table here called Outbox. And now I'm also going to go go to my work queue table, and again I'm going to choose a SQL database, and I'll choose again my MySQL database, and I'll go there and I'll give it a name of work. And since I don't have that, I don't have an existing table to use, I'm going to just have Alpha 5 create the table for me and click OK. And so now if I go here and do a oops, got the wrong window. Let's go here and do a refresh. You can see there's my work queue table with currently nothing in it. So let's go ahead now and click OK. And go back now to our dialog, and I'm going to go here to action scripting, edit my action, and I'm going to now say that I would like to send my email by adding it to the work queue. Now the work queue format can either be in the format of some XBasic code, or it can be some XBasic properties or JSON. So typically you would use XBasic script if the process that was going to handle the work queue was another Alpha 5 process. But let's say that you have some ASP.NET application that can send email very efficiently. In that case, you might want to not store an XBasic script in the work queue, but you might want to rather store say a JSON object that describes the email that needs to be sent out, because your ASP.NET application or your PHP application can easily understand JSON, whereas it can't understand an XBasic script. So right now I'm going to just choose XBasic script, and if I wanted, I could also store the message in the outbox if I want. So I'm going to go there and choose store in outbox. So now let's go ahead now and save this, and now when I run this form, it should perform much better, because there's not going to be the delay while the connection is made to the email server. In this case I'm using Gmail, and sending mail through Gmail can be extremely slow. So I want to pause now while I fill in this. Okay, so now I've filled in the form, so I'm going to go ahead now and click the submit button, and you can see that in this case we transitioned to the thank you page extremely quickly, because we didn't have to suffer the delay of actually sending the email. So now let's go back to our MySQL database and look at our work queue. So we can see now that there's a new entry in the work queue over here, and if we scroll over a little bit to the actual work to do, let me just pause here. So we're looking now at the data that's been put into the work data field in the work queue, and you can see it's an XBasic script that needs to be executed to actually send the email. So at this point the email hasn't been sent, we've just simply put a new entry into the work queue, and some other process can handle it. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video.